It's that nerd Ryan here. Sorry for the dark light. My thing busted. Or not busted, but just decided to stop working. So it's a little dim today. I do apologize. But we are going to do a Jojo's theory. Theory, crossover, whatever you want to call it, for our anime day. Which I'm excited for. I got it on my phone here, so that's why I'm looking at it. And this is something that I've done with other franchises that I always find interesting. And that's if we take the Tournament of Power and use it literally in what other universes, what characters would they send? I've done it with Marvel. I believe I might have done it with Star Wars, or at least I've thought about Star Wars, which is very hard to do for the set of rules. I'm going to try that. There we go. That kind of helps. And I think I've done it with like some other franchises possibly as well. But I figured, what else than the first anime crossover of this that we have, which is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, my all-time favorite show, and the show that beat out Dragon Ball Z for my favorite anime. So I picked 10 characters that I feel would work in the Tournament of Power, and will state why they would join and why they would be an asset. And I also just want to set rules that the Tournament of Power have, and then rules that we would have to use for this. So, rules for the Tournament of Power is you cannot have weapons, and you cannot have anything that is robotic or anything like that, or anything that would be smuggled in. So, for example, we cannot use Mista because, if we were to choose between Mista and Whole Horse, we would have to choose Whole Horse, because Whole Horse's stand is the gun, while Mista's stand is not even the bullets, but they guide the bullets, so he would have to bring in a gun, which would not be useful. Obviously, there's a lot of other stronger stand users than Mista, so that wouldn't be a thing. No killing, which would take some stands out that would have to cause death. And then the other one would be, or the one rule that I would add, which is more of a world's rule, is that stands are able to be seen by everybody. It would just make the fight more fair. Obviously, let's just say we're up against Goku versus Jotaro. It wouldn't be fair for the fight if you just had Jotaro standing there and Goku trying to get closer but getting stopped by Star Platinum. So obviously, you'd have to add that. Another rule that we're adding is anywhere in the timeline counts. It just has to be parts 1 through 6. 7, 8, and 9 are not added on because I don't know 7, 8, and 9 that well. 9's actually getting written right now, so nobody knows that much about it besides the first 8 or 9 chapters by the time this comes out. And also 7, 8, and 9 are in a separate universe, so that would almost, if it was more established or more well-known, that would require its own video, which maybe I'll make a long ways down the line when Part 9's more in-depth. And we have more access to Steel Ball Run and JoJolion. But that's the other part, and then my other rule was that it would have to make sense for these characters to join. We wouldn't want to throw Diavolo in there, or I don't believe I have him in here. If I do have a reason. Yes, I don't have him in here. So, Kira. We wouldn't want Kira in there because he just wants to live a quiet life. If their universe ends, that's not really going to affect his overall goal. There is one villain in here that I put that it would make sense, and we'll talk about that. There are no Part 1 characters, though, just so you know. So with that further ado, let's get into this list. So the first would be Part 2 Joseph Joestar. So why I say that is he is the pinnacle of Hamon training, very talented. This would have to be maybe prior to losing his hand, and the whole idea of that would be so he has Hamon usage in both hands. Hamon would be very similar to Ki in the Dragon Ball universe, so it would be, even though stands are more powerful than Hamon, it would be a good even match for somebody like Master Roshi. I can't speak. Master Roshi. He would not be the team leader, though. The team leader would probably have to be Jotaro, who is on this list as well, just due to his tactiveness and fighting prowess compared to most people on this list. There could be a secondary captain, I think, that's also on this list that we'll get to in a second, just due to their great leader skills that we see in the show to begin with. So yeah, Part 2 Joseph obviously would be an easy add. He wouldn't train for it, or he'd have to be forced to train with our number 2 on this spot, but I do feel that he would be a good asset to the battle. Only thing is he wouldn't be able to bring his clackers because that's a weapon. But speaking about using ranged Hamon, number 2 would be Caesar Zeppeli. Another one that would probably be willing to fight and willing to show that he's worth something. He'd be an easy add-on, especially if you add Joseph to the mix. I know him and Joseph did not get along till the end, but depending on when you're pulling these characters, I feel like it would be a fine choice to have somebody with ranged Hamon and somebody with close Hamon. The next one would be Jotaro Kujo. Obvious pick, has a very strong stand, has the ability to stop time. I was actually debating choosing Dio on this, but I feel like Jotaro would be a better choice than Dio, just for allegiances and stuff like that. But we would put Jotaro in the mix. Another easy add. Might not really care about the fight, might claim to not care about the universe getting destroyed, but I do feel like he would ultimately, to protect his mother, protect his friends, join that fight. And I also feel that people learning about the Super Dragon Balls being a wish, they would also join in probably to bring back people they care about. So like Joseph, it would be to bring back Caesar. Caesar, it would be to bring back his father. Jotaro, probably bring back Kakyoin and Avdol. And Iggy. Next would be Okuyasu. Easy add again, he'd just be happy to fight. Not that bright of a person, but his power with the hand could work to the advantage. Not even attacking people, but attacking the ground, erasing it, and getting people to just fall. I feel that would be the very best thing that we would do. Obviously, he would not be able to use that attack on people, maybe on energy blasts and stuff like that. But if he were to use it on a person, they would be dead. He would be disqualified. So yes, he would have to use the hand tactically, which would be a scary thought for Okuyasu. But I feel like if Jotaro or our other team leader that I have in mind would explain it to him, it would work a lot better. Next would be Giorno Giovona. He would have to be the healer of the group, but he would also, I would say this would be his Requiem stage, so he would be able to undo attacks and stuff like that, maybe bring people back into the fold. Everybody always says how GRE is a very overpowered stand. I do agree on that. And I feel like with GRE, it would be a no-brainer to add him to the team. Next would be our other possible team leader, and that would be Bucciarati. Obviously, he's the leader of Passione's rebel group. He is a very caring leader, very tactical leader, knows what to do, and obviously Sticky Fingers being a very powerful stand, being somebody that can tear people apart and not kill them. Also open pockets in reality to hide from attacks and hide from opponents, and even send opponents through these pockets of reality. Could use it possibly like a portal just to send these people off the battlefield, would be amazing. Next is our only villain on this list, being Wamu. So this is where convincing really comes into purpose. Obviously, Wamu loves to fight, loves seeing strong opponents, basically has the same mentality as Goku. I mean, any smart person would have killed Joseph on the spot and not like, okay, I'm going to let you train and then we fight. Anybody that actually like cares about like their objectives. It's like the sense of Goku hearing, oh, you can get more powerful? I'm going to let you do that and then we'll fight. So I feel like Wamu would just easily jump in. Obviously, him being a Pillar Man, he has a lot of advantages. Divine Sandstorm being a good attack and everything like that. Not even just killing people with it, which he can't, but pushing people off the ring, again, good idea. Next would be Avdol. I chose him as one of the other Stardust Crusaders just for the fact that Polnareth's attacks are very specific. We have Kakyoin, who has a very weak stand but is able to stretch around and do Emerald Splash, but that would kind of be weak compared to Avdol, who, again, would just join to fight and save the universe. Obviously, I feel like he would probably be a good fighter due to the heat levels of his Magician's Red and just like his prowess and just basically knowledge of very particular things. I feel like he would be a good confidant for Jotaro or Bucciardi to go through in this fight to see, point out weaknesses, figure stuff out. I feel like Avdol would be good at that. And next would be somebody with a more tactical use. This person would literally just join for the plot, let's just say that. Rohan Kashibe. Rohan using Heaven's Door would be able to rewrite people and their powers and basically just do things to the enemy that would make them weaker. You could use Heaven's Door on Goku to make it where he forgot how to use Super Saiyan. Another thing, he can use Heaven's Door to figure out everything about anybody they're fighting. Freeze it, read them, see that, okay, this is Vegeta's weakness, is his pride and his ego. Use that against him. Obviously, Rohan's not a physical fighter. He would have to pair up with somebody, but he would also be more of an informant in the fight, I feel like. Obviously, he would probably be one of the first ones out if he isn't using Heaven's Door smart. But, yeah, that would be a thing. And lastly, we have Weather Forecast. I don't know if I would want fully realized Weather Forecast or the Weather Forecast that doesn't know who he is. If it's the fully realized Weather Forecast, he can't control his stand, so he could be detrimental to his team. However, if we put the caveat that he figured out how his stand works, then obviously we want that Weather Forecast. But even before that, his powers are strong enough to manipulate weather, to be able to do a lot of stuff, to be able to help his team and stop the enemy. I feel like if it's prior to Weather realizing who he is, they can lie and just say that this will help him realize what his past is. Or if it's post him getting his memory back, it could be to bring back his sister. So yeah, I could see that being the team. Again, it's Joseph Joestar from Part 2, Caesar Zeppeli, Jotaro Kujo, Okuyasu, Giorno Giovanna, Bruno Bucciardi, Wamu, Muhammad Avdal, Rohan Kashibe, and Weather Forecast. The leaders would either be Jotaro or Bucciardi. But yeah, so that's my list. What do you guys think? Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and follow me on all my social media down below.